Hello, welcome to the HireLens progress update, an application made by students for students. I'm Sheng, and I'll be your presenter today. So, in regards to the project tech stack update, in regards to the API integration, we're transitioning to OpenRouter for accessing DeepSeek v3 so we can leverage their API keys, which will replace our previous Navigator slash Hypergator setup, since they are free and they're open to use. In regards to data management, we'll be continuing with the Google Sheets API for a streamlined data management process, and we're also integrating MongoDB to securely store unique user IDs for OAuth, so users can also access their previous interview scores and their previous interview feedback analyses.
So for the front end, we're at least finishing the pages. We have like at least bare bones versions of them up, and we added connection to the database for camera access and for user scores, which you will see in the walkthrough later. And we've also revised the landing pages, and we're continuing to work on the login page where users will be able to access past interview scores, also from the database and feedback and transcripts of the interview, which were obviously all done by the AI.
In regards to the project pipeline, so we are working a little bit ahead of schedule. This is what we originally had planned, but in the month of March, we wanted to set up the BERT modeling for general sentiment analysis for better feedback on answer quality, and then we decided to ditch the Hypergator and Navigator route and go through the OpenRouter API, which is basically where we're able to use DeepSeek v3 for Q&A pair analyses. And then from in the month of April, we were going to connect the BERT, OpenCV, and DeepSeek models all together to create a general scoring algorithm. And then we're going to connect the backend and front end together, but we are working ahead of schedule, so we have already done this. And then by the end of April, we wanted to deploy.
So for the backend progress update, we finished the sentiment analysis model setup and training. We revised our approach to no longer use Hypergator and instead we're going to use OpenRouter for their ease of access and free use. We also set up a MongoDB local instance which stores user ID and it's used to associate the user and their scores and interview scores. Here's a quick walkthrough of what we have so far in our project. So we have a sign-in page where you can sign in with your Google account using Google OAuth. Once you sign in, you have two options. You could start an interview or view your past results. There's also a logout button in the top right corner. When you start, no, when you look at your results, it shows you all your past results, all your scores. Then you could click to begin an interview, which basically looks at your camera and uses the analysis. And then it processes the interview and gives you back your score and feedback for that specific interview instance. And then here you could see that it adds it to the interview history. We're still missing some additions to the thing, like for example, the BERT modeling and the vocal instance of the interview is we're missing to add.
So as for testing the code, we did a static analysis using Sonar. And what we found was that we did pretty good on security, we did fairly well on reliability, and we did very well on maintainability. And we want to look through these issues that are coming through with reliability and seeing if we can fix them later on down the line as well.
In regard to issues and strategies, obviously, as previously mentioned, Navigator access was a huge block in our road to completing this application and the Hypergator access as well, and that's why we opted for OpenRouter API keys for both of these options. In regards to responsibilities, I will be in charge of finishing the DeepSeek v3 answer analysis model and also implementing it into the overall grading scale, and Pablo will be helping me with that.
For my responsibilities, I'm simply working on fine-tuning the grading scale for the overall interview grade to give you a more accurate feedback.
For my responsibilities, I will, in the upcoming weeks, perform a usability test and I will then gather that feedback, analyze it, see what we can improve, and use that feedback to implement those changes into the front end design.
So what I'll be working on is just finalizing the front end design and then working on the front end prototype that Jonathan will use for usability testing.
And that'll be all for us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, and